Right, and welcome to our 2024 Nurse Shark Academy Kickstart 2024 challenge. I'm just double checking and making sure that all of our feeds are going okay. Make sure things are going okay on our feeds. And welcome to those of you that are in our Nurse Shark Academy challenge group, and those of you that are having trouble. Okay, so let me quickly change this. Yep, Facebook is down. I always double check the Facebook feed. Facebook has been acting up lately, so I want to make sure I got that right. Okay, great. And it looks like we're doing okay on our LinkedIn feed as far as I can tell. Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Tina Baxter, and I am the founder of the Nurse Shark Academy. And one of the things that I love to do with the Nurse Shark Academy is to give back to nurses and to help them get started and launch their own businesses. And so that's what I love to do. So I want to go ahead and start by sharing my screen because that always keeps me focused on what I'm supposed to do, right? So let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so that's not the screen I want to share. Hold on one second. Okay, so what it's showing you is not that. So let me see. But you gotta love technology. So give me one second. I think I know how to do it. Every time you learn something new, this is great. This is great to know. Every time you learn something new, you do something different. So this is what I wanted to do. So I'm going to upload it this way because StreamYard's a little bit different than Zoom, and so this is where you have to learn to switch between platforms and things like that. So here we go. Ah, perfect. Added to the stage, and there we go. So here are our slides for today. I was hoping that the slides would be bigger. Yes, that's exactly what I want. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to do our Kickstart 2024 Nurse Business Challenge. I'm excited to get here with you today. So my mission is for you to own your seat at the table of nurse entrepreneurship, giving you confidence, skills, and freedom to live your life on your own terms and for you to dream big and expand your consciousness as an entrepreneur. So that's why I founded the Nurse Shark Academy. I'm going to make this bigger so I can. There we go. All right. And so when I started the Nurse Shark Academy, this is how I thought of it. And a lot of people ask me, how did you come up with this name? Well, the first thing is that I looked at what a shark was. A shark, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is an expert in a specified field. Hence the nurse shark, who's an expert in nursing. And so we're focused on busy building up nurse entrepreneurs and supporting small business. And that's what we do. So I wanted to kind of introduce yourself to me and tell you a little bit about my background and my story. I started out as a side hustler. As a nursing student, I learned how to teach CPR classes so I can make extra cash. I didn't understand about business or anything like that. I just wanted to make extra cash. And so for some of you, that's where you may start out doing something on the side to make extra cash. But it's in the process of becoming an entrepreneur and learning what entrepreneurship is and what it does, that's what expanded my world and brought me into this platform of being able to help so many different people. So that's what I love to do. So let's move on a little bit. So I want you to do this for yourself. This is our 2023 year in review, and we want to celebrate our wins, and where we are in 2023. I cannot believe how fast this year has gone by. I don't know about you, but this year just flew by for me. I started out really in like a gangbusters. I was like really going full throttle in Q1, right? Quarter one, going out. We had a goal of doing a year's worth of business, as they say, or activity in our business that we would do in a year in 90 days. That was the challenge that I received from my coach and my mentor. So I did that. And typical Tina, I made a spreadsheet of everything that I wanted to do and accomplish that quarter that I would normally take a year to do. And so we hit the ground running, and Q1 was phenomenal. We were doing this and adding these things in, and really had great momentum. And then life happened. And then a wonderful surprise, but one that kind of took us off the fast running track that we had. Those of you who follow me know that my husband had been ill and he received a kidney transplant. So that stopped a lot of everything. We had to slow down because I had to spend more time with him and making sure that he had what he needed during this period. And so with all that, it took us about 6 months to get back into the groove of things because we were taking that time that we needed, and we were fortunate enough we could do that to support him in his recovery. So then Q4 happened, and I thought I cannot get out of this year without acknowledging the wins that we have for 2023. And I have to say, if we hadn't done that 3 months of activity, right, at the very beginning, I don't think it would have carried us through the year that we had for the 6 months that we had to slow down. So in retrospect, that was a very good activity for us. And one of my other friends, who's a very big business and media coach, he says he thinks of his year not in 12 months, but in 3 month increments. So he goes by quarter. So his entire year is based in a quarter, and he thinks quarterly. And that makes sense for me. And so what I'm encouraging you to do then is to take out your piece of paper and think about your 2023 and your business and answer these questions. What worked? Where did I grow personally? Where did my business grow? And what were my wins? Because having thought about this, I just really got a chance to sit down and as has been my custom every year, I go through and see what worked the year before, what we need to do for the next year, and I add those things on there. And so I look at that. And so I'm encouraging you to do the same. So answer those questions for yourself, right? Answer your questions for yourself. What worked? Where did you grow personally and in business? And what were your wins? So take a moment to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and move on. And if there's any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat, by the way. Okay, so let's go on. So what worked for me? So I'm going to talk about me, right? Because that's I don't know your business. You certainly share. But I'm going to talk about me because I want to help you to understand what I mean by asking those questions. And so when I thought about it, it said, as a legal nurse consultant, this was one part of my business. I asked myself, what worked? Listing on the AALNC exchange. It gave me more exposure, got me to meet more legal nurse consultants, that we can exchange referrals. And then meeting with other legal nurse consultants, I went to the AALNC conference last year. And I got to meet with some of these other nurses, and they referred business to me, and I would be happy to refer business back to them. And being a member of the West Virginia Upper Ohio Valley chapter and an active participant, because again, that helped get me to know others in our industry, and then attending those networking events. And so then I looked at what worked for me as a business coach and consultant, because even during all of this time, things happened and that were good. Running a challenge. So I did have an opportunity to run the challenge last year. Writing articles. I have continued to write articles twice a month. And it's been good that I've been able to do that. I think there's a couple of months in there that I was did one a month, but that was during the time my husband was in recovery, so from his surgery. And so I continue to write articles, and also not just my articles in my blog, but also writing articles and answering questions for others in the media. And then attending networking events. And so even during that time, I was able to attend some networking events. And then podcasts, meaning that I not only did I launch the Nurse Shark Academy podcast, but I also continued to be a guest on others' podcasts. And I didn't get a chance to add in here participating in two large events, summits, and putting in a keynote spot into big events. And I'm doing that in January as well. So I say that to say that there were some wins in 2023 despite life happening. The other thing is that I stopped making bad, or as we say, broke ass decisions, and started making millionaire decisions. And that came from We Should All Be Millionaires. That's a wonderful book that I read. And then I sought out and worked with mentors and business coaches by getting out of my own way. And I want to say, when I stopped making these bad decisions, I stopped making decisions based on fear. I made decisions based on what's best for my family, my business, and what was going to bring us further. And I actively got rid of those self-limiting beliefs of we can't do. And so I also learned to put first things first, hence taking 6 months to scale back. I didn't stop working completely, but scale back to really help my husband in his recovery, because that's important for our family, right? So I put first things first. So that's where I grew personally. And during this time, it really helped me to do things like focus on the book and all those other things that I was doing, that there was a certain grace for that downtime where I wasn't actively doing a lot for clients per se, but I was doing a lot internally. I was doing a lot for the family. I was doing a lot behind the scenes for the business. And I think I needed that time, and not realizing that was going to be very important for me. So where did my business grow? Well, I completed my first year as a podcaster. So as of yesterday, our last podcast episode of season 1 just went out. So you can tune into the Nurse Shark Academy show where I interview nurse entrepreneurs. Right? So I did that. And I was talking with someone today. I said, podcasters typically don't go past like the 3rd episode, right? They don't make it past the first year. So this is a definite win. And I need to celebrate. And so that's why I'm talking about these things, not necessarily just to talk about what I'm celebrating, but for you to get the idea of where you can celebrate. So maybe you don't have a podcast, but maybe you wrote a book, or the chapter. You started your book and wrote your first chapter, or maybe you submitted an article, or maybe you decided to take that class so that you can further your business and grow. What is it that you did to celebrate? And so our business visibility increased with honors such as the 2023 Small Business Leader by Alignable, We became a local alignable ambassador. That should be an R there. Sorry about that. And then several podcast interviews were completed. We also added to our business through the Baxter Professional Services Health Education, the Certified Nursing Assistant Training School. And then we launched two new websites that we did on our own. So those are the things that we have accomplished. This is where we grew in 2023. It's so important to acknowledge where you've been and where you're growing, because this is going to help you in your starting your 2024. So where are my wins? Season 1 of the Nurse Shark Academy Show podcast is in the bag. We've completed it. We're ready to start season 2, and you'll be seeing some updates coming up in season 2. We launched the Nurse Shark newsletter. So those of you that are on our website and signed up for our newsletter, you're getting that content, and we're being more consistent and making sure that newsletter gets out. We've expanded our Nursing News You Can Use newsletter on LinkedIn, and we made sure that that got published for the most part twice a month, so that we can share that information, share the content that we have, and then link back to some of the news topics that we talk about on our news show. We added a new team member in my direct sales business, which is important because obviously you want to build a team to help you share the what you have. And then the Baxter Professional Services Health Education, we actually launched that as a separate entity to the point of it has its own web page and web presence, where we have the CNA training school, because I needed a place to house that. But then I brought in all the other trainings that we're doing, like CPR and TB, etc. We now have a place for people to sign up and register for our offerings on our own website. So all of these great, wonderful things happen in 2023. Those are my wins. And there were many more, but these were my business wins. We're going to focus on business. We can talk about personal wins, but I want to really focus in on business today, because that's what we're here for. So I identified some problems and opportunities for growth, because I really don't think of them as problems. I look at this as opportunities for growth. And as I was reflecting over 2023, I noticed that maybe some of my branding was a little off, my marketing was a little off. And so I wanted to make sure that the message that I would put out for the Nurse Shark Academy and the other business enterprises would be cohesive. And so I went back to my branding coach, shout out to Jerry Foster, and I'm working with one of his mastermind groups to help me rebrand some of the things for the Nurse Shark Academy. So again, this is what I'm saying. These are opportunities that you can have for you. So maybe you need to go through rebranding or restructuring or looking at your marketing message, right? And so I looked at our Facebook and Instagram ads, and they are helping, but they were a little inconsistent. And I noticed that my LinkedIn audience may have been a little bit bigger, so you'll be seeing a lot of more things shifting to LinkedIn. And then I also noticed that lack of a local presence that we had with small business, which is one of the reasons why I am grateful to be on a platform like Alignable and be an ambassador for Alignable. So I tell all of these different things that we're doing for our business so that we can get the word out of how we can help, because that's part of our service. And then I looked at the use of AI, artificial intelligence, in business, and how that's changing. And there's so much opportunities then for business growth and the appropriate use of this technology. So I want you to kind of think about that for yourself. So for your 2023, what were your key takeaways for the year in your celebration? What were your core activities? How effectively are you matching your goods and services to your customers' needs? These are some questions that you want to look at in your business analysis, and this will be your homework for today. This is some of the things that I would ask for you to work on. So one of the things I looked at was, and we were looking at matching our goods and services to our customers' needs, is I saw that there was a need for nurses to know what it is that other nurses were doing and up to. I saw a need, one, for visibility for these nurses, and I'm talking about, as I say, the nurse next door, the one that's opened up her IV hydration business and no one knows that it's there, right? and other nurses that are like, I would like to do an IV hydration business. How do I do this? Who do I contact? Who can I, help me with this? And then, I can have a guest on my podcast and they can offer a session and talk to some budding entrepreneurs and give advice and things like that. So I encourage you to do that. And so that's one of the ways I looked at what were my customers asking for, right? My customers. And then I looked at which of my products and services are succeeding, what was working well, what's not working well, and what's not working well I need to tweak, or maybe I need to drop. And that might be a question for you. And so one of the things that I notice is that over the years, we've tried several different ventures. And if there's a venture that doesn't add to what we're doing and actually is taken away from what we're doing, then it may not be something that we will want to add. So, for example, it took me a while to relaunch the CNA training school because at the time I just didn't see the need for it. There were other people out there doing it. I really didn't see the need. I mean, I had people asking me, my customers were asking me, but I didn't see the need for it at the time. And I don't think it was in the right environment. But I did see where keeping my CPR training school open was very important because during the pandemic, all the nurses had to have their training, and most of the hospitals weren't doing the training anymore, at least in this area, because they weren't allowing people other than their own employees to come into the hospital to attend the training. So what happens to the ones that work for home care or the travel nurses? A lot of them needed to get their skills up to date for them to travel. And so I was there to fill that need. And so that's what I'm saying. So what products were succeeding? And then if there's a problem between one of your products or services, such as pricing, marketing, cost, branding, etc., what can you do to change that? And so that's one of the things that I was looking at with the Nurse Shark Academy is I want to make sure that there's any problems with pricing or marketing, branding, etc., that I address those things going forward in 2024. And then, are you reviewing your costs closely? Are you looking at your overhead, your production costs, etc.? And so when I looked at starting the podcast, that was one of the things I wanted to make sure is that I had high quality, but I wanted to keep my production costs as low as possible. So I've been able to do that by using certain platforms such as StreamYard and Podbean, and they've been very helpful. And again, I'm not going to say I'm endorsing one over the other. You can certainly use what you want to use, but I'm just telling you what's been helpful for me. And I don't have any endorsement deals with any of these platforms as of now. I can say that as of now. However, if they want to come knocking, we can have a conversation. So I say that to say that you need to evaluate where your costs are going in your business, and if there's a place where maybe you can cut back on costs, or maybe you need to invest more in. And then where have you grown or exceeded your goals? And I never thought that I would have such a reach with this podcast, that now we are reaching an international market. And we're going to have our first few international episodes coming up in season 2. I'm so excited about that. And this is where it helps to ignite your beliefs, your core beliefs. It helps you because you realize where you're going with your business and how to further your business. So these are all things that we're going to do in your analysis and review. And those of you that are staying for the VIP workshop, and you'll get the Zoom information afterwards, to do that, we're actually going to do all this homework together and we're going to workshop it. But for those of you that are just watching the live, feel free to do this on your own. And this is why I'm leaving this slide up here, so you can take a screenshot of it to work on your business analysis, which is your homework. And then your second part, you're going to look at your, this is what we call your executive summary, which we're going to work together on in the workshop. So you're going to look at your business financial statements and measure your profitability. Where is your money going? Your cash flow. Where's it coming in and where's it going out? Any working capital, have your requirements changed? Is it compared to your industry norm? Do you need to invest more into your business, and your cost base, keeping your costs under constant review. And one of the things that we looked at was whether or not we needed new equipment for our business, um, where we needed to reinvest in some things, if we needed to cut down on some things. One of the things we cut back on was ancillary services. We didn't need as much. We weren't doing as many live events during the pandemic, so we didn't need that. So we were able to cut back on some of those things. And borrowing, what is the position of any lines of credit or loans that you have? Is it working? Are there cheaper options? Is there a different way to finance? And then with your growth, do you have plans in place to adapt your financing to accommodate your business changing needs and growth? So maybe you need to expand because the location where you were in is no longer feasible. And that's what happened to us in 2020. The location where we were located was not feasible. We had very little access to the amenities that we needed for our customers. And now we have a building to where there's potential for growth that we're leasing. So you need to look at those things. And people ask me, why do you lease a space when you can work out of your home? Because of the nature of what we do. It doesn't make sense to continue to lease a space. Maybe you need to move, you can move to your home office. But for us, because of what we do, the confidentiality that we have, the fact that CPR training is not supposed to be happening in someone's home, all those different things, this made sense for us to have a landing place for us to come. And it's worked out so much better for us. We've done a lot out of this building, and we can use it for multiple purposes. So for us, this makes sense. But does it make sense for you? So those are questions you need to look at in your business. And then assessing your business efficiency. How well are your systems and processes working? One of the things that I noticed is that in our business is that we were to make sure that we had the podcast go out and make sure that we had the newsletter go out. It was important to put them as scheduled time for production on the calendar instead of leaving it to whenever. So it was always scheduled. And the same way with podcast interviews, I made sure that there was designated time set aside for that type of work. And so I'm encouraging you, what systems do you need to put into place for your business? Is it a quarterly meeting with all your staff to make sure that you're on the same page with your goals and what you're doing? Is it that you need to sit down with your business partners and go over the financials every month and make sure you're where you need to be or where you're going? Do you need to put a new policy in place, like an attendance policy for your students if you've got a training school? All these different things may come up. And so when you're looking at your business efficiency, it's not just about doing the background things, but it's also about looking at, where you're located. Is your building big enough? Are you planning to grow? Do you have room to grow? What are your long-term and short-term goals in regards to that? Do you have to have any equipment upgrades? And so this is something that I looked into and invested. And one of the things that we upgraded was some of our equipment for the CNA training school. We made sure that we got the equipment that we needed for that school in order to be open and then to pass our state inspection. We also upgraded, and we had some things that we weren't using. We started using more things in studio. So these are the cost analysis and things that you need to do and to look at your efficiency in your business. And then information technology. What management information IT systems do you have in place? And so one of the things that I noticed is that with some of the training centers going to their own, the big associations that are running, like American Heart Association and Red Cross, they all have their own management system of how you get students. And I really wanted a way of collecting the information for the students so that I could have real-time access to everything that I needed, and had a way for my students to pay, so I didn't have to keep sending out invoices, which was becoming unsustainable, having to do all of these invoices and keep track with all that and the emails and all this stuff and the refunds. So when I developed the online platform and the website, now my students can go right to my website, sign up. I know who's in the class, who's not in the class. I can instantly see who's there and keep tabs of it so much easier, and the payment and refund system is a whole lot easier. And then you know everything about signing up for the classes because it tells you what the terms and conditions are, so there's no questions on refunds and how that happens and all those different things. They're already there on the website. So this is what I like about that. And then so I looked at what systems that we needed in place and what I needed to upgrade. And so we're constantly making updates and upgrades to our websites to make it more efficient. And then looking at what we may need in the future. And so in the future, we may need some other ways to add content, and maybe we'll add more products to our store. And so one of the things that we've done is looked at a platform that allows us to add those things to our website without being too disruptive to what we're doing. And then you're also going to look at your people and skills, and do you have the right people to achieve your objectives? And I was looking at that in our business as well. Is there something that we need to do as far as staff or support staff or outsourcing something? Maybe we need to do that. Or personally, maybe as me as a business consultant and coach, maybe I need to do some additional training or learn a new skill. And that's one of the things that I've done. Every time I learn a new skill, that I look back at how I can share that and teach others to do the same thing. And so that's what I want to do for you. That's why I like to learn the skills myself so that I can help you if you want to DIY it, because a lot of people, like to do it themselves. So if you want to DIY it, that's fine. And then, does your team know what is to be expected? So, are you meeting with your team and letting them know what their vision is going to be going forward and what we're going to do? And then the other thing that we need to look at is our pay scale competitive? And maybe for your market and what you're doing, it may be or may not be. And so I look at that, and then I look at my prices every year, and are my prices competitive? But more importantly, are they in line with the value that I think they should be? So you want to check your customer satisfaction. The other thing that's important is to check and see, are your customers getting what they need? And is there any feedback that they can give you to help you to make things better? So that's one of the things that I like to hear back from is some of our customers. Let me know where we can improve. Maybe there's an offering or a need that you have that we aren't meeting that we could. And so those are the things that I like to know. So checking with your customers to find out where you can improve. And then checking your customer pipeline, understanding how much it costs for you to acquire a new customer. So this is a little bit different than you're measuring your existing customer satisfaction, but this is how much does it cost for you to get your customer and get a new customer acquired. And so one of the things I look at in our metrics is our ads. How much does it cost for us to turn a new lead into a customer based on our ad revenue and our ad expenses, I should say? What does it cost for us to, how much effort do we have to put into networking and going to events and things like that? And how many contacts does it take for me to get people in the door? And how many workshops and seminars and things like that do I need to participate in to garner that? I look at all of those different things and look at that cost of acquiring those new customers. And then where does it make sense for us to put more of our marketing dollars? And so these are some of the things that you may want to look at with your business. And again, we're just talking about 2023 and reviewing these things from last year, because you can't make a plan for 2024 until you understand where you've been and where you need to go, where are your opportunities for growth. And then your employee satisfaction. And are your employees getting what they need? Are you offering them opportunities for growth? Are you able to give them a competitive salary? Are you able to bring them in and make them feel as if they have ownership to their part of the project? What are the things that you're doing to encourage your employees to continue to work for you and work in your business? And how can you enhance their life while supporting their dreams and aspirations? Those are all those questions that you need to look at and answer, and for your getting ready for 2024. And then identifying any market changes. And one of the things that I noticed is that our audience kind of shifted a bit from one social media platform to another, and we have an opportunity to grow in another social media platform. And so I'm excited about that. And we did an event, our gratitude challenge. Actually, we did that event on Instagram, and that grew our Instagram audience. And so we're going to continue to work on those areas to where we can see where we can change with the market. The other thing that we noticed is that there are still a lot of people out there, a lot of nurses and other healthcare professionals that are looking to get away from, as we say, the bedside or do something differently. Or maybe they can't physically or mentally handle being at the bedside any longer. Maybe something in their life has changed. They have to take care of a loved one and stay home more. We life happens. And so when you look at those changes, and as I see how a lot of nurses are dissatisfied in what's happening at the bedside, and they're looking for something different, we want to be able to be in the market to help you with that and to make those changes, and other healthcare professionals. So we work with not just nurses in the Nurse Shark Academy. We expanded. We work with all healthcare professionals that are looking to do something different. And then your competitor analysis. And again, you're going to worry about that they're going to get all the pie, right? Because it's more than enough to go around. But you want to see where maybe there are gaps. Maybe there's a niche that they aren't meeting that you can meet and market to. And maybe they're doing something better, and maybe that can encourage you to improve in your area. And so one of the things that I notice, and I watch a lot of my coaches and mentors and what they're doing, and a lot of other influencers, etc. I watch and see what they're doing, and I learn from what they're doing and what seems to work. And I'm not saying I copy straightforward from everything, but I look at it and I take it and I put it into our own spin on it. And I look and see what seems to be working and what seems to be helping. And it's not from a competition standpoint of I want to beat them out. No, I want to make sure that I'm, one, meeting the customer's needs in such a way that it makes sense. But two, I also recognize that maybe there's something that they may not want to focus on. So for example, I talked to some business coaches, and they love being business coaches for other things, but they absolutely don't want to do anything with legal nurse consulting. Well, guess what? I'm a legal nurse consultant, so I can certainly help fulfill that need for your clients in that one area. And I don't mind coming on and sharing what I have to your audience and letting them know what I can do for that. And then vice versa. I am not a financial person. I am not the financial guru person, right? But I know some people that are great with finances, and I actually just talked with a nurse about that today, who is great. She's turned her nursing career into a finance business because of some challenges that she's had. And so I talk to these different nurses and talented people and share, because I realize there's more than enough business for everyone. We just need to share our resources, and one will help the other. And then I learn from everyone that I meet and talk to. And so that competition analysis isn't a negative thing. And I think for a lot of people, we think of it negatively, but it's not. It's actually a very positive thing, because we can see what they're doing and then what can set us apart, because I recognize that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody will want to talk with me or work with me, but I may know someone that you may be a better fit for. I've worked with some coaches that at the very beginning when I met them, I'm like, ooh, you're kind of rough around the edges and, kind of yelling it in your face. And for some people, they need that. And for other people, they don't like that confrontational style. So it just depends on what works best for you. And so I position myself to where I can be different from everyone else, and you should too. You should be different from your competitors, but how is your different? For example, let's think about mustard. I love mustard, yellow mustard, right? We have several different brands of yellow mustard out there. Maybe one has a slightly more tangy taste, one may be a bit sweeter, one, whatever. They're all yellow mustard. But what makes that one particular brand that you love better than all the rest? It's that flavor that you like that resonates with you. And let's not even get started on the fact that there could be different types of mustards, not just the yellow mustard, the classic yellow that we think of. We always think about the Grey Poupon commercial, right? Where they talk about they are a step above everyone. They're more the posh, right? We talk about that. And in fact, years ago, growing up, we used to say that, you had that Grey Poupon lifestyle, right? It was a big thing. It's like the bouginess of having the Grey Poupon. They set themselves as a brand. And so you associate that with a certain lifestyle. So that's what I want to say is that looking at your competitor, what can you do to set yourself apart as a brand for them? And then after you complete all of those, then we'll talk about your products and offerings and launches and previous year's goals, accomplishments, and all those different things that we'll work on. And so for those of you that are joining me backstage, we'll talk about this a little bit more in depth. We'll get into more of the nitty gritty of looking at those financial statements and things like that. And so I want you to know that that's available to you. So go ahead, if you haven't taken a chance to screenshot this here. But I want you to have a successful 2024. And so that starts with celebrating the wins you had in 2023. We're going to certainly acknowledge some of the losses, right? The losses are important too. And that's why we go through this analysis. But I don't look at them necessarily as losses. I look at them as opportunities for growth. Because even out of that 6-month window where we were not as productive as we usually are, in my mind, we were super productive on the back end because we were putting in all those systems and processes in place because I actually had more time to sit down and think about them than I normally would because we'd be going, hustling, bustling, and going here, going there. And so now we're setting ourselves up for 2024 where we're able to be more free and actually move forward and do more things. So I'm very excited about that. So I want you to celebrate you. I want you to celebrate your success and your wins. Now, you sat through this and people are always wondering, is there going to be an offer? Is there going to be an offer? Because we do these challenges, that there's going to be an offer, right? My offer is simply this. It's scrolling underneath the banner here, join the NurseSharkAcademy.biz. Why? Because we want you to be successful in your business and you don't have to do it by yourself. Why not be in a community that's going to push you forward? Why not be with a group of people that's going to celebrate you along the way? Why not come in and help fine tune some things in a safe environment? Why not get that extra help that you need, that extra push and for 2024? So that's going to be my offer to you. Join the NurseSharkAcademy.biz. We're going to have some other great things that are coming up in days 2 or 3. Don't forget that this is a 3-day challenge. So this is just day 1. That day 1 homework that I'm going to go back to real quick. That day 1 homework is for you to start your business analysis. That's your day 1 homework. Those of you that are joining us in the VIP, we're going to work on that day 1 homework together. But we're going to do this. And I want you to get started for 2024 because guess what we're going to talk about tomorrow? We're going to do a deeper dive tomorrow. We're going to look at your current picture of where you are and take all that homework that you just completed, bring it back tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We're going to be here for 1 hour, and we're going to go over that and really help you do that deeper dive of that current picture, that snapshot of your business as we get ready to go into your analysis here to further bring that out and what core activities you'll need for next year so that we get ready for your goal setting workshop, which will be on day 3. And we're talking about your values statements and your alignment of making sure that all your goals are aligned to what are your values. Because sometimes we can get enamored of this shiny object and we think that, oh, great, this sounds good. Someone's doing this and I want to copy that. But if it doesn't align with your goals, it doesn't align with your values, that's not going to be a viable goal for you. And so we're going to talk about all those things on days 2 and 3. So you want to make sure that you come back for the next couple of days. And so that really is it for today. Unless anybody has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and get out of the full screen. There we go. And now that I figured out some back behind the scene things, which is great, and I can put these back up for you, I'm excited. And so if you have questions or comments, now's a great time for you to post those comments. I'll be also in the Nurse Shark Academy Challenge group, if back there, as well as on our Nurse Shark Academy page on LinkedIn if you have any questions or comments. And those of you that may be watching on our website, because we are live streaming to our website through the YouTube channel, if you have questions, go ahead and submit them in the forum, because we'll be happy to talk with you on the forum as well. And then anybody that's in the VIP, we'll see you over in the VIP starting at noon. So that really ends what I have for today. This is our day 1 of getting started for 2024. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We'll try to keep you about 45 minutes to an hour. I don't want to be too long. I leave time for questions because I realize as nurses and other healthcare professionals, we're busy. We don't have time to take out our day to be here for 3 or 4 hours, which is why we spread it out over 3 days. And that gives you a chance to do your homework. So those of you that are in the Nurse Shark Academy, this homework page and all of that will also be part of the workbook that you'll be getting as well. So I just wanted to let you know that that will be available to you. But if you haven't started a business, and I want to say this for those of you that maybe aren't in business, I don't want to leave you out. Maybe you're not an entrepreneur. You don't want to start a business. You're just happy doing your job and going to your 9 to 5 in nursing. That's fine too. But I want to encourage you to take this, what we just give you, this homework, and apply it to your business, to your career, to your job. Where have you had wins in your profession this year? And where have your financial goals have been met or not met? And where can you be more efficient in your career so that you can meet those said financial goals? And then where have you found more satisfaction in what you are doing as an employee? And then where have your patients have found more satisfaction in what you do as a nurse or an employee? And what has made your employer happier with you by what you're doing? These are all things that you can do even if you're working for someone else in a 9 to 5, because again, as I say, your license is your business. And we'll be talking more about that coming up this year as well. We'll be talking more about using your license as your business, whether you are working for the hospital on the unit, in the ER, in the nursing home, or in a business on your own. Your license is your business. And this is a message that I want to give to all nurses and those in the healthcare professions and in the healthcare field. Your license is your business. And I mean that in both ways. As the thing that feeds you and puts food on the table for your family, but it's also your business to take care of and nobody else's. And so I'm encouraging you to join us for days 2 and 3. We'll be back here at 11 o'clock on our LinkedIn page and our Facebook Nurse Shark Academy Challenge group. And also we'll be on our YouTube channel, so you can join us there, or on our website, the nursesharkacademy.biz. I want to thank you for coming for today. Again, my simple offer: join the nursesharkacademy.biz, get a membership, and you get access to all our content. You get access to all of our training videos. You get access to our ebook. There's all these different things that we want to put in for value for you if you're a member of the Nurse Shark Academy. And then we have some great events that will be coming up, and we'll talk about that on tomorrow. So don't forget to come tomorrow, because it's going to be very important, because we have some additional announcements for you as well. So again, join the nursesharkacademy.biz. There's still time to be VIP. You can go to our website and go to the event page and sign up for the VIP event and come back stage with us. All right. Well, that ends our live for today. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I want to thank you for being here. And I'm seeing that there's not too many questions out there that I can see from the comments. So I want to thank you. Don't forget to kickstart your 2024, and I'll see you tomorrow.